Have you ever hugged a woman and wondered, did that moment actually mean something? Maybe she smiled afterward. Maybe she stayed close for another second. Or maybe the hug felt awkward, rushed, or completely different from what you expected. Here's something most people get wrong about attraction. A great hug isn't about having the perfect technique. It's about what the other person feels while she's in that moment with you. Does she feel comfortable? Does she feel respected? Does she feel that you're confident without being pushy? And most importantly, does she actually want to be there? Because attraction isn't created by forcing physical contact. It grows when two people feel safe, comfortable, emotionally connected, and genuinely interested in each other. So in today's video, we're breaking down 4 things you should pay attention to when hugging a woman if you want physical affection to feel natural and potentially strengthen an existing connection. And stay until the end, because the 4th one is something many people completely overlook. It's also one of the biggest differences between a hug that creates warmth and a hug that makes someone uncomfortable. Let's get into it. Why a hug can create emotional connection. Before we talk about the 4 things, let's understand something important. Why can a simple hug feel so meaningful? Because physical affection communicates things that words sometimes can't. A hug can communicate, I'm happy to see you, I'm here for you, I feel comfortable around you, or simply, it's good to be close to you. But here's the key. The meaning of a hug depends on the relationship and the situation. A hug from a close friend doesn't automatically mean romantic attraction. A hug between 2 people who are already flirting can feel completely different. And a hug from someone who isn't comfortable with physical contact can mean something entirely different again. That's why you shouldn't obsess over one tiny signal. Instead, look at the overall pattern of behavior. Imagine you've been talking to a woman for several weeks. You have good conversations. She initiates contact sometimes. She laughs around you. She seems comfortable. Then one day you meet and she gives you a warm hug. The hug isn't magically creating attraction from nothing. Instead, it's becoming another expression of a connection that already exists. That's the important distinction. Physical affection can strengthen connection, but it shouldn't be treated like a shortcut to manufacture attraction. And that brings us to number 1. Pay attention to her comfort. This sounds obvious, but it's one of the most important things you can do. Before thinking about attraction, think about comfort. If you move towards someone for a hug and she clearly seems hesitant, stiff, or pulls away, don't try to push through it. Give her space. Why? Because confidence isn't about getting your way. Real confidence includes being able to respect another person's boundary without taking it personally, and that can actually make interactions feel much more natural. Think about the difference. One person thinks, how do I make this hug longer? Another person thinks, is she comfortable right now? The second person is paying attention to the human being in front of them, and that's a much healthier foundation for attraction. Here's a simple rule. If the hug feels mutual, let it be mutual. Don't squeeze harder just because you want the moment to feel more romantic. Don't hold someone in place because you're afraid the moment is ending. And don't interpret hesitation as a secret invitation. Instead, let her participate. A comfortable hug usually has a sense of natural reciprocity. You move closer, she moves closer. You embrace, she embraces. And when the moment naturally ends, you let it end. That sounds simple. But this is where many people make a mistake. They become so focused on what they want the hug to mean that they stop paying attention to what is actually happening. And attraction doesn't grow from ignoring reality. It grows from connection. Read her body language. Now let's talk about body language. But let's make one thing very clear. Body language is context, not mind reading. There isn't one magical gesture that proves a woman is attracted to you. You have to look at the entire interaction. For example, during a hug, you might notice that she naturally steps closer. Maybe her posture is relaxed. Maybe she returns the hug instead of remaining passive. Maybe she smiles when you separate. Those can indicate comfort. But don't take one gesture and immediately create a story in your head. Instead, ask, does her behavior consistently show that she enjoys being around me? That's a much better question. Here's a scenario. You meet someone you've been talking to. You say hello. She smiles and opens her arms. You hug, she comfortably returns the hug. Then when you separate, she continues the conversation naturally. That's very different from someone who looks uncomfortable, keeps distance, gives a very brief hug, and immediately steps away. The lesson isn't, use body language to decode women. The lesson is, pay attention to whether the interaction feels mutually comfortable. And here's another important point. Don't turn yourself into a detective during the moment. You don't want to be standing there thinking, her shoulders moved 3 centimeters closer. Does that mean she's attracted? No. Be present. Listen. Enjoy the conversation. Let the interaction happen naturally. Because the more you overanalyze every movement, the less confident and relaxed you'll actually appear. And that leads directly to number 3. Thing number 3, stay calm and confident. Confidence during physical affection isn't about acting dominant. It's about being comfortable with yourself. You don't need to perform. You don't need to prove anything. And you definitely don't need to turn a hug into a test. Imagine 2 people. Person A hugs someone and immediately thinks, "Was that good? Did she like it? Should I have held her longer? Does she like me now?" Person B simply thinks, "It was nice seeing her." Who seems more relaxed? Obviously, person B. And that relaxed energy matters. When you're comfortable, you don't rush, you don't force, you don't become overly intense. You allow the moment to happen naturally. Think of confidence as emotional steadiness. You can be interested without becoming desperate. You can enjoy physical affection without needing it to prove your worth. You can like someone without needing immediate validation. And that's a powerful mindset. Because here's a truth many people don't hear often. Your self-worth shouldn't depend on how someone responds to a hug. If she returns the hug warmly, great. If she prefers a quick hug, respect it. If she doesn't want a hug, respect that too. Your confidence remains intact. That's genuine confidence. And now let's talk about something deeper. Because physical affection isn't just about physical contact. It can communicate emotion. How physical affection communicates emotion. Think about the last time someone you cared about gave you a genuine hug. You probably remember more than the physical sensation. You remember the emotion. Maybe you had a difficult day. Maybe you hadn't seen them for months. Maybe you were celebrating something. The hug became meaningful because of the context surrounding it. That's why physical affection can sometimes create emotional closeness. It becomes connected to a feeling: comfort, excitement, relief, warmth, connection. But again, context matters. A hug isn't a magic attraction button. You can't simply hug someone and expect romantic feelings to appear. If there's no mutual interest, physical contact won't magically create it. And if someone feels uncomfortable, trying to intensify the physical moment can have the opposite effect. So the goal isn't, how can I use a hug to make her attracted? A healthier question is, how can I make sure this moment feels comfortable, mutual, and genuine? That mindset changes everything. And now we arrive at the 4th thing. 4th thing, know when to let go. This might be the most underrated part of a good hug, knowing when to let go. Because sometimes people think a longer hug automatically means stronger attraction. That's not necessarily true. A hug should have a natural rhythm. You come together, you share the moment, and then you release. If both people naturally stay close for a moment longer, that's different. But you shouldn't force the duration. Think about music. A song can be beautiful because it knows when to end. The same principle applies to moments of physical affection. Sometimes leaving a little space afterwards feels more natural than trying to extend the moment indefinitely. And here's the psychological reason this matters. Respect creates comfort. Comfort creates trust. And trust gives genuine connection room to grow. So if the moment is naturally ending, let it end. Smile. Make eye contact if it feels natural. Continue the conversation. Don't turn the goodbye into a struggle. And don't assume that letting go means you're losing something. Sometimes confidence is simply being comfortable enough to let a good moment end naturally. The psychology behind a comfortable hug. Let's put everything together. A comfortable hug combines several psychological elements. First, safety. The person feels physically and emotionally safe. Second, reciprocity. Both people are participating. Third, context. The hug fits the relationship and situation. Fourth, emotional connection. The physical moment reinforces an existing positive interaction. And fifth, respect. Either person can end the contact without pressure. That's what makes a hug meaningful, not some secret trick, not a special hand position, not holding someone for an exact number of seconds. The psychology is much simpler. People tend to feel closer when positive physical affection is mutual, wanted, and connected to positive emotions. So don't obsess over mechanics. Pay attention to the person. Common hugging mistakes to avoid. Let's quickly go through some common mistakes. Mistake number 1, assuming every hug is romantic. It's not. A hug can be friendly, supportive, polite, cultural, or romantic depending on context. Mistake number 2, ignoring discomfort. If someone pulls away, stiffens, or clearly doesn't want physical contact, respect that immediately. Mistake number 3, trying to make the hug longer than it naturally wants to be. Don't force the moment. Mistake number 4, overthinking every signal. One hug doesn't reveal someone's entire emotional state. Look at patterns. Mistake number 5, using physical affection as manipulation. If your goal is to control someone's emotions, you're starting from the wrong place. Attraction should involve choice, not pressure, not tricks, not games. How respect builds attraction. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Respect itself can make interactions more attractive. Why? Because respect communicates emotional maturity. It tells the other person, I don't need to control you. I can handle your boundaries. I can accept your answer. I can be interested without pressuring you. And that creates a very different emotional experience. Think about the difference between someone who desperately needs your attention and someone who genuinely enjoys being around you but still respects your independence. The second person usually feels much easier to be around. That's because healthy attraction needs freedom. You want someone to choose closeness, not feel trapped into it. Understanding mutual interest.
So how do you know whether there may actually be mutual interest? Don't focus on the hug alone. Look at the bigger picture. Does she initiate conversations? Does she seem happy to see you? Does she make an effort to spend time with you? Does she consistently engage with you? Does she respect your boundaries while allowing you into her personal space? Do conversations feel easy and reciprocal? These patterns tell you much more than one physical interaction. And remember, interest is not something you have to force someone into proving. When mutual interest exists, you generally don't need to intimate effing earn it. You can communicate, you can flirt respectfully, you can ask someone out, and you can accept whatever answer they give you. That's healthier than trying to decode every hug, text, or facial expression. Final thoughts. So let's recap the 4 things. Number 1, pay attention for comfort. If she isn't comfortable, attraction isn't the priority. Number 2, read the overall body language and context. Don't try to decode one tiny signal. Look for consistent patterns of mutual comfort and interest. Number 3, stay calm and confident. Don't turn the moment into a performance or a test of your worth. And number 4, know when to let go. Sometimes the most confident thing you can do is allow a moment to end naturally, because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about finding the perfect physical technique. It's about creating interactions where both people feel respected, comfortable, and genuinely interested. A hug can be powerful, but not because it's some secret weapon. It's powerful because sometimes human connection doesn't need many words. So the next time you hug someone you're interested in, don't ask yourself, how do I make her attracted to me? Ask yourself, does this moment feel mutual? If the answer is yes, relax, be present, enjoy the moment, and let genuine connection do the rest. If you found this video useful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. What do you think makes physical affection feel genuinely meaningful? I'll see you in the next video.